Spirit and grit is a direct reference to the people who were here before the uranium boom. It took a lot of work and effort, and this has often been described as a really dry and desolate place where it's hard to grow things, where it's tough to survive. It took a lot of spirit, people who saw the beauty of the place and saw the value and wanted to do it, and then had the grit to make it work. My name is Tara Beresh. I'm the Curator and Collections Manager here at the Moab Museum. So many people go up to Island in the Sky and to Dead Horse Point State Park for the spectacular views. They're gonna see these objects. This puts those objects in an entirely different environment. So I'm excited that a lot of different people will be able to see those objects. And if you have a moment to be up there in the quiet, I think it lends to imagining what it might be like to live there alone, with no people around, with no buildings around, and be eking out a living on your cattle ranching. It just gave me a chance to elaborate more on things that we didn't have the space to touch on here. I am really excited about having worked so closely with Jean, who is Mark Beeson, a longtime historian and community member, in building the cow camp. It's different than anything that people will see here at the Moab Museum. Having a space where he could help design this incredible life-size cow camp means that his lifelong efforts of collecting objects and wanting to share them with the public, but not really having the space to do that, has been in a small way remedied, because he built this incredible cow camp that is full of all of these authentically historic artifacts. I mean, everything that people will see there they're not props. They're real and they are local. And I just think that's really cool. And it was really fun to work with Mark and learn about the history of Moab as he sees it, and really learn about the people who came here and really built this town from the ground up before the uranium boom, before the time that is talked about so much more. It's very personal. I think that's my favorite part of curating exhibits, is getting to know people and hearing stories firsthand and really making that part of the exhibit.
My name is Elise Park, and I am the museum director for the Moab Museum of Film and Western Heritage. Originally, this museum was kind of like known as the Cowboy Museum, but what we've really found is that Western heritage goes far beyond just, the cowboy. The original list that we had kind of developed for objects that would go into this exhibit is not the same list that we ended up with. And it was really wonderful to work with Tara in developing her vision for this process and kind of deciding, actually this object doesn't really fit with the stories that we're trying to tell. Eventually, the way that the exhibit evolved really started to focus on the things that happen in ranching outside of the homestead. So a lot of the objects that were eventually selected for this exhibit, I think really embody the concept of grit. So many of the objects, if you look closely, have homemade repairs on them. We wanted to really, pull apart that spirit to show that it really is somewhat individualized, and that the experiences were different for each. And so I think that, I hope that if nothing else, I hope that they understand that this environment and this ecosystem is truly special. And again, I hope that lends to an appreciation of the ranchers who overcame all of those things.
So my name is Aaron Farmer. I'm the park manager here at Dead Horse Point State Park. I've been here for a little over 18 months. So I've been with Utah State Parks for almost 20. So I think it's been a really good opportunity to put something into this space that really delves into the history of the region, because the area around Moab and the San Rafael Swell and all of southeastern Utah has such a rich history. Our goal is to spark an interest in our visitors' imagination and in their minds so that they go out and research things on their own. So hopefully this will be a great introduction to this area, to the history of this area, and they'll want to research it more and go visit the museum in Moab to get a bigger perspective on things. We get over 1 million visitors a year. So hopefully they'll get that spark and want to go down to the museum, discover a little bit more about the history around Moab. Everybody looks at the desert and says, it's just a big empty wasteland. And they don't realize what has gone on here, well, what's still going on as far as cattle ranching, but what went on in the past. If you're visiting the park, make sure you go downstairs into the gallery and see the Spirit and Grit exhibit.
I think that the exhibit at Dead Horse it's special, and I hope that people will have that kind of experience walking into it. A bit of a calm and a chance to go back in time a little bit, and maybe want to come see the Moab Museum for more stories.